there, and welcome back to the channel. Ryan Nordall here with Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. Today I want to talk about a product that we've been using from Domain Outdoors here the latter part of August. We're going to even be using it here going into the beginning of September. And that's a new product that came out this past spring called Hall Pass, again from Domain Outdoor. It's a combination of winter rye, winter wheat. I do believe there are some brassicas in there. Even I think there's some forage rape in there, but there's also crimson clover, and I think there's white blands of clover in there as well. It's going to help us as we get here into the latter part of August and through September, beginning of September here, for these late fall food plot plantings, especially with the rye base and winter wheat base. It's going to get up above it's going to act as that winter rye will germinate very quick. Along with the winter wheat, it'll get above any weeds that might possibly germinate here into the fall. We're pretty much past weed competition this time of year, so it'll allow that winter rye and that winter wheat to really grow and get ahead, especially leading us into spring. It's going to give us that green food source through winter into next spring. And then come next spring, when it starts to warm up again, the soil temperatures start to warm up again, that's really gonna, that winter wheat and that winter rye are really gonna take off, and they're gonna get above next year's weed growth and help suppress the weed competition that might possibly exist, the threat of those weeds that possibly exist, and it'll help suppress that weed growth going into next year and getting us to that next planting phase, which we usually come back in the early part to mid part of June with our buckwheat rotation for a no-till situation or just a soil builder situation. It can be where we till that rye and that wheat back into the soil profile, giving us the organic matter that we're looking for. Here in the upper Midwest, particularly this part of Wisconsin, not so much here on my home property where I've got a good clay loam soil, topsoil profile, but on the proving grounds in my brother's farm, it's more of a sandy loam soil base or topsoil, and we're really lacking good organic matter. I mean, with fewer and fewer farms, you know, livestock farms, dairy farms in this part of the country anymore, and going to just mostly cash cropping some of these farms, we're lacking good organic matter. And the winter rye and the winter wheat will help give us that green manure, if you will, to help build that organic matter in the soil profile, which is vitally important to growing superior crops. And Hall Pass, I think, is going to be one of those critical options that you have out there. And we've been planting a lot of it here in the latter part of August, this latter third of August, and we'll be planting a lot more going ahead here into September. And I know my brother will be taking some corn silage off, and I think we're going to go in with a cover crop, and I think Hall Pass will be his ticket on that as well. It's actually, when you spread it out over an acre, it's actually a pretty cheap thing to do and a cheap thing to implement per acre when you spread it over a per acre cost. And I think he's going to be happy with the results that he gets as far as a cover crop and what his goals are leading him into next year. And it's going to give us one heck of a food plot where that where that standing corn was over the summer going into fall. And after he takes the corn silage off, it's going to give us a heck of a destination food source to hopefully do some doe control for my brother on his farm. We're going to be doing that here in the next few weeks as our bow season gets underway the 16th of September here in Wisconsin. So as long as it's not real warm like it is today, holy cow, today it's, when I'm filming this, it's almost in the upper 90s, maybe even approaching that century mark. And according to the Weather Service in Eau Claire, if it reaches the century mark in Eau Claire today, that's the first time since mid-July of 2012. So I could go on and on about that, but I won't. Anyway, Hall Pass. I think you guys should try it out. You know, even going into next year with the clover base that's in there, that Blanza clover, now we've got a base of clover in there. I can go in the fall too, even through the winter wheat and the winter rye, I can still frost seed over the top of all that, come back with some hot chick and come back kid from Domain Outdoor. And then after a good green up of the winter rye and winter wheat, I can kill it off with a grass specific weed killer, such as Select or Section, and or anything with a Clethodium base, and it's going to get us through. So I highly recommend that you check out Halt Pass, especially if you need a food plot rescue going into this fall, an emergency fix. We've been really dry here, as I've stated in other videos that you want to go back and check out. This summer it's been really dry, and a lot of guys have been hesitant about planting food plots, and we're getting to be that critical time of the year where it's time, you know, it's do or die. And if you don't have a green food source, boy, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt come November, and I don't want that to happen. So I think Halt Pass is going to be a great way to fix that problem, and we're going to be planting a lot of it here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So get you some Halt Pass from Domain Outdoor. I think you're going to love it. You can find a link to Halt Pass in the description below this video. Check it out. I think you'll be really happy with it. Thanks for joining me on this video, guys.